We all know someone who is just too nice. That person who's always agreeable, always smiling, and always puts everyone else first. But what if that constant kindness isn't a sign of genuine contentment, but a mask for something much darker? What if the nicest people are actually hiding a part of themselves they're terrified for anyone to see? Now, this isn't about bashing kindness. Real, genuine kindness is a strength. This is about a specific performance of niceness, a rigid, people-pleasing agreeableness that just feels a little off. It's the friend who says, "I'm fine" through gritted teeth, or the coworker who agrees to everything but seethes with unspoken resentment. The world of psychology, especially the work of Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung, gives us a powerful way to understand this. It suggests that behind this carefully built wall of niceness, a shadow is lurking. And the more we try to deny that shadow, the more power it holds over us. The problem, the too nice persona. Have you ever felt that pressure to just be nice? To swallow your opinion, smile when you feel like screaming, or say yes when you really want to say no? Most of us have. We learn pretty early on that being agreeable gets us approval, acceptance, and social validation. In Jungian terms, we build a persona. Think of it as your public-facing mask, the version of you that you show at work, around new people, or in any situation where you feel you're being judged. It's your polished, polite, and helpful self. For some people, though, that mask starts to feel less like an accessory and more like their actual face. Their entire sense of self-worth gets tied up in being the nice one, the helpful one, or the selfless one. At this point, being nice isn't a choice anymore, it's a compulsion. They avoid conflict at all costs, terrified of being seen as rude, selfish, or difficult. But here's the catch. This isn't authenticity. It's a survival strategy. Often, this intense need to please others is a trauma response that started in childhood, where a person learned that their safety and belonging depended on keeping others happy by suppressing their own needs. They start living by a set of unconscious rules like, "My happiness is selfish," or "I have to earn my place here." This constant self-suppression creates a huge and dangerous split inside us. Because all those feelings we refuse to acknowledge, our anger, our selfishness, our jealousy, they don't just vanish. They get shoved down into the darkness. The agitation, the unseen shadow. This is where we need to talk about Carl Jung's most famous concept, the shadow. Jung said that everyone carries a shadow, and the less it is embodied in the individual's conscious life, the blacker and denser it is. Your shadow is essentially the unconscious, unlived part of your personality. It's a storage container for everything you deny and reject about yourself. It holds your primitive instincts, your secret desires, your shame, your aggression, and your irrationality. So, the person who builds their entire identity around being nice is, by definition, repressing a massive part of themselves. They deny their anger, their ambition, and their desire for control. But denying these traits doesn't get rid of them, it just feeds them in the dark. The shadow grows, becoming more primitive and unpredictable. This creates a constant inner tension. You might feel it as a low-grade anxiety, a sense of being a fraud, or a simmering frustration you can't quite explain. That feeling is agitation. It's the exhaustion that comes from holding up the mask all day. It's those moments where you snap or say something completely out of character and you think, "That's not me." But here's the thing, it is you. It's the part of you that you've refused to look at. As Jung warned, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate. An unexamined shadow doesn't just sit there quietly, it secretly runs the show, popping up in ways that are often destructive and manipulative. The revelation, unmasking the shadow's manipulations. Because the too nice person can't consciously own their darker impulses, those feelings find other, sneakier ways to get out. The shadow, denied a voice, learns to speak the language of manipulation. First up is the classic, passive-aggressive behavior. This is the shadow's signature move. Because direct conflict is terrifying, anger and resentment leak out sideways. This can look like a backhanded compliment, a sarcastic joke that stings, or agreeing to do a favor and then forgetting or doing it poorly. It's a way to express hostility while keeping the nice mask perfectly in place, leaving the other person feeling confused and unable to call it out. Next, there's the subtle art of guilt tripping. Here, the manipulator uses your own conscience against you. They play the victim or the martyr to make you feel responsible for their emotions. If you try to set a boundary, they might hit you with a heavy sigh and a, "Don't worry about me, I'll be fine." This makes you feel selfish just for trying to protect your own time and energy. It's a masterful way to control a situation, making you feel like a bad person if you don't give in. Then you have hot and cold behavior. One minute, they're showering you with praise and affection, a tactic known as love bombing, designed to make you let your guard down. The next, they pull away and give you the silent treatment. They become distant, leave your texts unread, and create a painful silence. This emotional whiplash is incredibly destabilizing. It's a power play meant to keep you guessing, chasing their approval, and locking you into their control. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, there's projection. Jung believed that the things we judge most harshly in other people are often the parts of our own shadow we refuse to see. Ever met a nice person who is incredibly critical of others, always pointing out how selfish, arrogant, or angry someone else is? That's projection. They are literally casting a movie of their own inner world onto everyone around them. Jung put it perfectly. A man who is unconscious of himself acts in a blind, instinctive way, and is in addition fooled by all the illusions that arise when he sees everything that he is not conscious of in himself coming to meet him from outside as projections upon his neighbor. Their harsh judgment of others is just a desperate attempt to distance themselves from those same traits inside. Recognizing these patterns, either in others or in yourself, can be unsettling. But this kind of awareness is the first step toward real change. If you appreciate these deeper explorations into psychology and want to continue learning how to live more authentically, take a second to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss what's next. Now, having unmasked the shadow, the crucial question is, what do we do about it? The solution: the path to wholeness. So, how do you get out of this cycle? The answer isn't to try to be nicer or to defeat your shadow in some epic inner battle. The way forward, according to Jung, is integration. This is the core of what he called shadow work. Shadow work is the courageous process of turning inward to face the parts of yourself you've pushed away. It's about making the darkness conscious. As Jung famously wrote, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." The goal isn't to get rid of your anger or selfishness, but to acknowledge these feelings, understand them, and integrate them into a more complete, authentic you. Your shadow, once you acknowledge it, holds incredible power, not for destruction, but for wholeness. It contains your assertiveness, your healthy ambition, and your ability to set firm boundaries. This journey isn't a quick fix. It requires what Jung called considerable moral effort. But the rewards are life-changing: real emotional stability, inner peace, and the freedom that comes with being yourself. You stop being a nice person and start becoming a whole person. Someone who is genuinely kind, but also strong, boundaried, and real. So how can you start this journey? It begins with radical self-awareness. Notice your triggers. When you have a huge emotional reaction to someone's behavior, ask yourself, what is this person showing me about myself? That person you can't stand might just be holding up a mirror to a part of your own shadow. Question your niceness. The next time you're about to automatically say yes, just pause. Ask yourself, am I doing this because I genuinely want to, or because I'm afraid of being disliked? Embrace your emotions. Allow yourself to feel anger, jealousy, or resentment without judging yourself for it. These feelings are just messengers from your unconscious. Listen to what they're trying to tell you. By doing this, you start taking the steering wheel back from the shadow. You stop being driven by your own unconscious patterns and start living a life of conscious choice. This journey of self-discovery is one of the most important you can take. It's the path from a life of performance to a life of authenticity. If this deep dive into the shadow resonated with you, I'd appreciate it if you liked this video and subscribed for more explorations into the psychology of a meaningful life. And now, I'd love to hear from you. Have you ever dealt with a too nice person? Or have you recognized some of these patterns in yourself? Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your insights are a huge part of this community. The dark psychology of nice people isn't a story about secret villains. It's a story about human fragmentation, about what happens when we're taught to reject essential parts of who we are. The person who is pathologically nice isn't evil. They're incomplete. Their niceness is a defense mechanism built to protect a fragile, disowned self. The path to becoming a truly good person doesn't lie in pretending our darkness doesn't exist. It lies in having the courage to face it. The most genuinely kind people aren't those who lack a shadow. They are the ones who have done the hard work of integrating it. Their kindness is not a compulsion, but a choice made from a place of wholeness, strength, and true self-acceptance.